You keep training and you're at your natural genetic limit. It's right there. Yes, yes.
That's what she said.
Oh, I'm in my 30s now. I can't get any bigger. I want an IBB Pro Guard, and you add in some test and trend. Boom. Now you're freaking way over there. Unfortunately, the elastic, it snapped, it's broke. You're dead.
From there, they plugged all their body measurements into this formula for fat-free mass index, or FFMI, which is basically just a number that tells you how jacked you are. The bigger the number, the more muscle.
And so this is my problem with fat-free mass index. It was based on 150 people that they found in gyms that worked out, and only about half of them were natural, and they tested them to make sure, and they put up their fat-free masses, and they said, hey, based on that, that's the maximum that you could be while being natural. The sample size was under 100 naturals. Had the sample size been 100 million people, there would have been some genetic outliers, some freaks. 25 is by no means not even close to the max amount of muscle you can gain while being natural. Just because there's one study that tested 70 plus people who are natural, it ain't it. My fat-free mass index was way higher than 25 while I was natural. Oh, but you're lying. John Meadows also said when he was 100% natural, long before performance-enhancing drugs had ever been taken by him, that he was well above 25. It's ridiculous to think that 25 is the upper limit. It's the upper limit for most people. Unless you're a couple standard deviations from the mean, 3 standard deviations from the mean, most certainly going to be higher than 25. What about 4, 5, and 6?
This is what they found. Each circle on the graph represents a different person. On the left are all the natural lifters, and on the right are all the lifters taking steroids.
Look in the green and you see the 24 to 24.9, and there's everyone at that limit. It looks like a hard line. When you have a normal distribution, it looks more like the red on the right. You have a whole bunch of people down here, and as you go up, there's fewer and fewer and fewer and fewer. Do you see how it's slowly getting smaller? If you had sampled more people, thousands even, you would have most certainly saw some in the 25 to 25.9, even less in the 26 to 26.9, and much fewer as you go up. And so just because somebody has a fat-free mass of 26, it doesn't mean that they're not natural.
If you look at the individual subjects, you can see that going on steroids didn't actually guarantee that you'd be bigger than every natty.
I love this point. Just because you're on steroids doesn't mean you're going to be bigger than the people who are not on steroids. This is actual data. They analyzed people on steroids. Admittedly, they tested them. They're on steroids. Some of them's fat-free mass index below 20. They're bordering on being that word that I can't say that rhymes with lexic. It starts with an A. But what you see is there's more people on average who are jacked than others. But it doesn't guarantee it. Some are way up there, but you can see fewer and fewer as you go up to the top.
This led the authors to state that only rare individuals, perhaps with some genetic or congenital anomalies, may attain an FFMI in excess of 25 without steroids.
Define rare. Genetic anomalies. What about the genetic anomaly? I'm certain that if he had stayed natural and continued to train, he most certainly could have achieved a fat-free mass index above 25. I did it. Me. I'm just Greg. Maybe you think I'm different, Coach Greg. I'm just some guy from Yarmouth, and I had a fat-free mass index above 25 long before using performance-enhancing drugs. And you're thinking, no, you used them as a teenager. All right, fine, if you believe that, that's fine, you can believe it. Somebody else did. John Meadows, oh, you don't believe him either. Okay, everyone's a liar. If you want to believe that, you can believe it.
I'm 164.5 centimeters tall, and I weigh 155.8 pounds. That means my FFMI comes out to 24.4.
You're trying to tell me that Jeff is 0.6 off of the most muscle that's humanly possible for a man? I'm 8% body fat, 192 pounds this morning, 5 foot 6 inches tall. What's my fat-free mass index? I'm at 28.5 right now, only on HRT, and I'm almost 50. What's the most that I could weigh to have a fat-free mass index of 25? 168 pounds. So you're telling me that at my height, at my body fat percentage, that 168.4 pounds is the cutoff. 170, fake natty. So if I lost 22 pounds of muscle, I would still be a fake natty. Guys, a lot of people at my height can be 170 at 8% body fat. And by a lot, I mean at least 1 in 1,000. And so out of 1 million people that work out who are 5'6" tall, that train for 20 years, don't you think at least 1,000 could do it? That would be 0.1%.
And then from 1943 to 1949, 5 other pre-steroid era bodybuilders broke through the supposed natty ceiling of a 25 FFMI.
I mean, Dillinger in 1949 had a fat-free mass index of 28 before he even learned how to train. If he was born today with creatine and Turk Platinum, of course you can get this at Code Greg for 15% off. If he had all the natural supplements, I'm certain he could be up to 30.
Hussein Farhat, the fitness influencer from my last video, is 185 pounds at 5'11" tall and around 12% body fat. He has an FFMI of 22.8.
And so the catabolic twig says, no, he didn't gain it in 3 years. He gained it in 18 months. 18 months in, he was 165. He gained 20 more pounds after that. I don't know why there's a rumor that started that he gained all of his muscle in 18 months. Where did that rumor come from? Like, who started? I don't understand it. When I asked Hussein to give me his entire breakthrough, he had all his weights written down at different months, when he was on a bulk, when he was on a cut. That's right, he actually bulked and cut. He doesn't do that anymore. And so where lies this rumor? It is fabricated. He didn't put on all his muscle in 18 months.
I said that most men will gain 10 to 25 pounds of lean mass in their first year of lifting, 5 to 10 pounds in their second year, and 2.5 to 7.5 pounds in their third year.
Yeah, most men. You're not going to write all men. All men are going to gain in their first year of training somewhere between 0 and 1,000 pounds. All. There's no way that you could do more. Well, somebody might lose weight after the first year of training. And so most men, let's say within 2 standard deviations of the mean, so maybe about 98% of people, that's where they're going to gain. About 90%. That's most men. When you see those reference charts in blood work and stuff, and it's out of the reference range, those are 2 standard deviations from the mean. If you're 3 standard deviations from the mean, getting more rare, you're going to gain more. You're going to gain less. Whichever side of the bell curve that you're actually on.
According to my table, we're looking at a range of 17.5 to 42.5 pounds of lean mass gained in your first 3 years. Hussein gained 50. So yes, he's above the typical range.
Yeah. And so 98% of people are going to gain only up to 42.5 pounds. Hussein gained 50. If you only have 100 people in the sample, maybe none of them gain more than 42. But if you have 1,000 people in the sample, maybe somebody gains 47. 10,000, 100,000, 1 million, eventually they're gaining more than 50.
There are 2 possible explanations for that. One explanation is that he took steroids for the first year or 2 and then came off them before the blood test in my last video.
No. The reason it's not possible is because about 2 months before this, he did another set of blood work. Remember, I went over that in a video, and several months before that, also did a blood work test with no notice to come off. He couldn't have taken steroids right up to the point where Jeff Nippard would have called him up and said, hey, we're going to blood test you, and then cycled off. Not possible, because I'd prior to this tested him twice with blood work, not just a drug test. Blood work is far more sensitive, and trust me, I did not cover for him. Y'all think that me and Jeff were paid off. I read that comment in here. Who paid us off? Hussein Farhat? Coach Greg and Jeff Nippard make way more money than you could imagine. And so you really think Hussein paid us off with what? How much money does Hussein have? No way does Hussein have 8-figure income. He's not paying us off. By the way, if you're interested in getting your blood work done, you can of course get it from Algo RX, as well as if you're looking for pharmaceutical prescription medications that are very, very cheap. The key word is cheap, less than half price of other competitors, for example, Merrick Health. And so if you're a rich millionaire and you don't care, you can go to these other carriers that prescribe to you medications like Cialis, Viagra, enclomiphene, tadalafil, the list goes on and on. You can all get these at Algo RX. There's no gatekeeping. The doctor, it's going to be very quickly. They can even go over your blood work for only like $250. They can explain everything and tell you exactly what you need. It's an hour-long phone consult. I charge way more than that for a phone consult. And so if you're looking to get quality medical advice on what to do, have your blood work taken to see what you need, and have somebody, a doctor, prescribe it to you legally Remember, it's pharma grade. It's not from some bullshit peptide website where 1/3 are not actually selling what it's supposed to be. You might be buying whatever you think it is, BPC 157, let's say, whatever that item is. And it's not even that. You maybe are even buying SARMs, you're buying various compounds, and it isn't even what's supposed to be in the bottle. And so if you want to guarantee that it's quality, Algo RX, click the link in the description.
The other explanation is that Hussein was quite underweight and seriously undereating when he first started, causing his transformation numbers to be inflated.
But no one talks about that. They say, oh, in his before photo, he didn't look jacked. If you're undernourished, underfed, and you don't do any sports or activities growing up, and you just play video games, your physique is technically regressed. And so you rebound back to that beginning point. It's like an elastic. You know how it pulls it back? If you are supposed to be here, your body weight should be, let's call it 150 pounds. But you starve yourself, you're suffering from an ED, you're playing video games, you're not playing any sports. You pull the elastic back, it's stretching. You're only now, say, 120. Your body's fighting you. Why are you making me be 120? I want to be 150. As soon as you give it nutrition and train, boom, it's back to 150 faster than ever before. Unbelievable. It's almost like muscle memory. It's almost like that was a thing. It's saying, look, our body was made to be 150. Why are you starving us? Jumps back to 150. Then you got the newbie gains. You just started training and boom, you go very quickly to 165 pounds. And then you keep pulling the elastic. You're now 185 pounds. The further the elastic stretches, the more it wants you to go back to baseline. Your body wants you to be 150. That's your sweet spot, your homeostasis. But you say no. I'm using progressive overload. I'm training harder than last time. I've got Coach Greg's cookbook. I hired Coach Greg for coaching. If you're interested in Coach Greg's coaching, click the link in the description and apply right now. And so you are really stretched out. Oh, now you get injured or you took a month off, you got sick, bam! You've already lost half of your gains. Why? Your body doesn't want you to be 200 pounds jacked. It wants you to be 150. And so if you just take time off and you do nothing, you get sick, you break your leg, you're going to lose a lot of muscle. You start training again. You then say, you know what? I'm going to start running and training at the same time, and you start losing muscle. Why? Because your body can't recover from both. You can't expect to train for marathons and bench press 400 pounds at the same time. Very, very difficult. You keep training and you're at your natural genetic limit. It's right there. Yes, yes.
That's what she said.
You then use Turk Builder Max, GO2 Max, Turk Platinum. It's natural, but it pushes you a little bit further. You say, oh, I'm in my 30s now. I can't get any bigger. I want an IBB Pro Guard, and you add in some Test and Trend. Boom. Now you're freaking way over there. Unfortunately, the elastic, it snapped, it's broke. You're dead. Thought it was going to be a happy ending. You thought the elastic would just keep stretching. Some elastics break. There lies the problem. Not everyone is born with the same elastic. Out of 100 elastics in that bag, some are defective. Hopefully, you have a really good elastic from day one. The elastic is your genetics, and you can sometimes push them very far. For others, you can't. It snaps like a twig. And so this is going to happen with everything, whether it's you pushing how many gains you're going to be making, pushing the steroids that you can handle. How is it affecting your cardiovascular disease risk? How is it affecting your kidneys? Everything. You need to be careful. Some people have better elastics than others, and Hussein seems to be that guy. He went reverse on the elastic. He had a very below average built physique to start with, likely from being undernourished, not playing sports. Most guys with amazing genetics, fast twitch muscle fibers and so on, they usually play a lot of sports. They're sprinters, they play basketball, they're gymnasts. And so their starting point is like, wow, you can see it like it's 15. Look at the guy's build. Bro played gymnastics, and so you see the delts, the shoulders. But if all your life you just sat there and played video games and your genetics were lying dormant, you have the best elastic in the world, but you haven't stretched it. Why bother? You're getting all your dopamine from playing Fortnite. You then discover the gym, and you train, and you're like, holy shit, I didn't know I had this kind of an elastic. Your friends are all jealous. I've been an athlete my entire life, and you're now bigger than me. I've been training for 8 years. You've been training for 1. What the And you become jealous, and then you go on social media and you say, he's a fake Natty. There's no way he could do it. Why? Because you couldn't? Unless you're just really bad at math and you don't grasp that concept of statistics and percent chances, odds, and so on. You don't understand the bell curve. You don't understand that some people, the more rare ones, they can achieve more than the average person. That the fat-free mass index, that ceiling at 25, it doesn't make any logical sense because it only used 74 participants. If it had 74 million participants, the 25 ceiling would have been a bit higher. The 25 cutoff, it's essentially useless. And why? Because a lot of people, you can't get to 25. 25 is the ceiling. Not everyone can get to 25. That was the best 10 or so people out of 78. And so unless your genetics are above average, you ain't getting to 25. You're not. Even if you train for 20 years, even with Turk Builder Max, you might not. You might not even get to 25 with performance-enhancing drugs. But some people, they're so fortunate, they start at 25. I don't even work out. I play football, I play basketball, and I lift some hay. Hey, my dad tells me once in a time to go cut some wood in the back forest, and I go and cut down a tree, I come back, and my biceps, they look like that. Maybe that's Julian. You can choose to hate me for telling you the truth, for being honest, for understanding mathematics, for understanding statistics, of which perhaps you didn't study in detail the way I did. And so it's not your fault. I'm just trying to educate you. And so if I've lost all credibility, it's only because I didn't say what you wanted me to say. I'm just being honest. I'm telling you with facts, with science, exactly what's going on. Is it possible that Hussein and Julian took something to get started in their first year? Yes, because the blood work would not date back that far. But if that were the case, typically what would happen is that person's physique would then regress. When you take steroids while you're on them, you're going to grow like a weed faster than last time. It's incredible. Now, I'm not trying to encourage you to do it, but it would in fact happen. If you just hopped on steroids and you're 18 years of age and you had shitty genetics and you have an amazing elastic and you started to take tests from day one, 500 milligrams, you're going to grow so fast. It's incredible, probably faster than even Hussein. But if you did that for 1 year straight, and you put on a lot of muscle, whatever it is, 30, 40, 50 pounds, whatever that number, and then you stop. Clearly, Hussein, if he did in fact do what you're suggesting, he did stop because he passed the blood work 3 times. And so he stopped a long time ago. Once you put on a lot of that muscle, you only keep about half. And so at his max size of 185 with performance-enhancing drug, that's what you're saying. You're saying he used performance-enhancing drugs. I don't care which one, MK, whatever. Once you stop, you're going to lose some of that muscle. It's inevitable. I've never in my life seen anyone go on steroids and hop off said steroids and keep all the gains. All of them. I've never seen it happen. Never. Does that mean it's not possible? There's probably someone out there that could do it. I don't know. Some kind of genetic form mutation where you take testosterone, it doesn't shrink down your balls. Your LH and FSH are somehow not affected. You somehow can just keep all of the gains. Never heard of it, but that's what you're saying. Maybe he's from Krypton. It's possible.
They took 342 women and 243 men and had them train their biceps for 12 weeks.
585 people in the study. Some put on way more muscle than average. Most people put on 20%, some 55%. They had the more stretchy elastic. Some elastics are more stretchy than others. Some skin is more stretchy than others. Look at the skin here. Look. You see how stretchy this is? Can you see that? Are you seeing it? It applies to everything. Flexibility. I can't reach my hands behind my back. Some people can do that. Does it mean that they use some kind of a drug to help them stretch and become more flexible? Did they stretch every single day for an hour? Maybe they never stretch ever and they can easily touch their back. Genetics.
My nutrition app MacroFactor uses science-based algorithms to guarantee that you'll hit your goal as long as you follow the plan.
Remember, it's going to give you an advantage over Steve Reeves and all the old bodybuilders before 1950. Interested in the cookbook, the supplements, the Circle Diet book, all the advantages of 2025, hey, without any of the negatives, except for you got to pay for it. Enter code Greg for 15% off. Subscribe, click the bell button, comment to boost the algorithm. Please like the video if you liked it. Don't forget to watch one of those 2 bloops right there. And until next time, I am out.